Let's go. Good morning, my friends. It's your old pal PeaceLoveMusic with another episode of the Good Morning Stacks and Broader Bitcoin Ecosystem Show, brought to you live by DeOrganized Media in partnership with our good friends over at BitcoinLive Decentralized Broadcasting. It is Tuesday, the 18th of February. We got a really interesting show for you today. I got GPSC going to join me for some conversation after the news. And then at 9 a.m., we will actually be tuning into the live Clairty Working Group Meeting with Setzeus and Gary Riger to bring you guys all that information as to what's going on with the easy development on stacks with learning Clairty coding. Friendly reminder, this is a news and information show. We're providing news and information and educational opportunities only. We are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research and never invest money you cannot afford to lose. The numbers today, Bitcoin holding on to the 96K range, coming in at 96,102 at the top of the hour just before broadcast. Stacks dipping down below 90 cents. Coming in at 89.68 cents per stacks, per STX. Moving up on CoinMarketCap to the number 62nd spot by market cap. Fear and Greed Index is holding steady again at 38. It's been stuck there for a few days, so still in the fear range. The market's in fear. This is not the time to be shaken out, my friends. This is accumulation phase. It's a gift opportunity. If you've been here for the long haul and you believe in the future of the ecosystem, now is the time to accumulate more NFA. Always do your own research. But pretty clear if you do some research that's the time we're in. Top three gainers on CoinMarketCap for the past 24 hours are Maker, MNT, Mantle Token, and the Litecoin. Top three gainers. And on the Stacks DeFi world, we have Hermetica yield on USDH coming in at 16% with $5 million total value locked on chain on their platform. Did you know you can trade runes on Bitflow? Trade runes like Dog, BDC, Pups, Runes, and more now live on bitflow.finance. Plus, get 1,000 BFF points on your first trade daily. Head on over to bitflow.finance for more. Calling all content creators, Velar has launched their creator program, providing opportunities for content creators to earn while posting on X. See the Velar BTC X account for more information on how to participate. Velar also now supports BNS names. You can connect and trade with your .btc name. Alex Surge 2 rewards and LP claim is now open. Tokens can be claimed at app.alexlab.co/surge. Be on the lookout for Surge 3 coming around the February 25th launch of SBTC Phase 2. Zest this morning is offering 7.29% yield on SBTC, and their highest yield today is 13.22% on AEUSDC. Today's rates at Stacking DAO are 7.88% on Liquid STSTX. You can receive yield in native BTC at 7.56% and 7.41% with yields on SBTC. And the top three STX token performers on stackstools.io in the past 24 hours are Miami Coin, Dog, and XBTC. And a friendly reminder, when you stack your STX, you earn yield in Bitcoin. Tell your friends. It's actually the greatest thing going in all of crypto, in my opinion. You got smart contract, programmability, programmable Bitcoin smart contracts with the security of Bitcoin, strengthened by the stacks proof of transfer mechanism. And all you have to do is hold some stacks. You need at least 100 stacks. It'll cost you like $90 today to get 100 stacks. You stack them in a stacking pool. You're earning 10% of the value of your stacks paid bi-weekly, each paid bi-weekly Bitcoin directly into your assigned wallet, whatever wallet you want to actually put as your rewards wallet. Usually it's going to be the same, the Bitcoin address that's linked in your, Xverse or Leather wallet that you're using to stack your stacks with. It's real super easy. Passive income in Bitcoin, providing security to the network and getting value in the same time. The calendar for the day, let me actually check out. Stacks event calendar. There is CoinDesk Consensus Hong Kong. Stacks activation is going on all day. Check that out. As always, we have our show Monday through Friday at 8:30, covering all of the Stacks, Bitcoin, and broader ecosystem news. And we have, the Art on Stacks at 2 p.m. today. That's with Reese and GPSC and 300. So check them out. That's a space on X at 2 p.m. today. And then Consensus Hong Kong has Bitcoin Speakeasy Stacks event also going on today. So a couple of things going on at Hong Kong. And then double checking the Stacks the calendar on DeOrganized. There's also the Stacking DAO DeFi show at 10 a.m. this morning. And we have Hermetica. The Hermetica show is at 11 a.m. Hermetica Hangout is at 11 a.m. today. That's a space on Stacks. And of course, second episode ever at 7 p.m. tonight is the DeOrganized Nightly Show with GPSC and Attract Funding Mike Jagdeo. So definitely tune in and support the guys there. And those are your events for the day. Lots of stuff going on today in the Stacks and broader Bitcoin ecosystem. Do you guys do you have a regular X Space live stream or event, single or short series of events you want to let the community know about? Head over to deorganized.media, set up your user account. It's really easy. It's just a simple wallet connection, and we'll get your event set up on the calendar and spread awareness to our audience about your events. This is an open community calendar, open to anyone at no cost. And if you do have an event you want to get on there, just let me or GPSC know, and we'll get you set up on the calendar, and we'll start amplifying your events and letting our audience know to go check you out. Major announcement, abstract wallets are being drained. If you've interacted with at Cardex_space, withdraw your funds immediately and enable 2FA on your wallet. This was announced a couple hours ago this morning, so good luck to everybody. Somehow I avoided that. I just was too busy to really get on there. But I know a lot of our community was getting into abstract and looking into some of those things a few weeks ago. So check your wallets and get your funds out of there if you haven't been drained. 28K plus BTC just moved into accumulation addresses, typically tied to OTC deals and long-term holdings. That's bullish. OKX secures a MiCA license, becoming one of the first global crypto exchanges to officially operate across 28 EEA countries. MEMX exchange files to list the 21 shares XRP ETF as a commodities-based trust. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is reportedly targeting the SEC in its latest cost-cutting push. Robinhood plans to launch crypto services in Singapore by late 2025, leveraging its Bitstamp acquisition to expand globally. Hyper EVM mainnet is live, bringing smart contract capabilities to Hyperliquid while maintaining its fast, low latency trading. South Korea has temporarily suspended DeepSeek downloads in the country over user data concerns. That's my Rhode Island accent coming out. We drop our R's like nobody's business. You think Boston's got it, but no. Tether signs agreement with the Republic of Guinea to explore the adoption of blockchain and peer-to-peer tech. The agreement aims to share best practices with the West African nation, focusing on education, innovation, and sustainable tech practices. What is agentic AI? Think of it as AI with a mind of its own. It doesn't just follow commands. Instead, it can set goals and make decisions in pursuit of those goals, often in a way that mimics human agency. And we're just at the beginning. We're just at the beginning of this. Elon Musk's XAI just launched Grok 3, revealing that it outperforms Gemini 2 Pro, DeepSeek V3, Claude 3.5, and OpenAI's GPT-4o in multiple benchmarks. I gotta play around more with Grok. I just don't have the time to play around with AI at all, which is silly. I should be definitely getting more integrated with some of that stuff. Ethereum prices have outperformed the broader crypto market over the past 24 hours, with increased ETH movement off exchanges indicating mild signs of a rebound, according to Sentiment. Fed Governor Christopher Waller says he favors pausing interest rates cuts as inflation remains uneven, however remains open on the possibility of reductions later this year. As far as on the subject of interest rate cuts, I would suggest that's probably closer to happening sooner than later, based on some of the information I'm hearing about job cuts coming to the economy in the short term. If you have a good job, make sure you're showing up and performing, because I think that the corporate establishment is about to start making waves of. I think we're going to see unemployment on the rise in the short term, and that will mean actually they're going to have to cut rates. They won't be able to not. Are you building on Bitcoin L2s? Don't miss the Biddle battle. I'm actually going to share my screen, show you guys what I'm talking about here. So, Bitcoin Builders Tournament is running from March 3rd through the 21st. Builders will compete for over $25K in prizes, building on stacks with other L2s to be announced. There are 3 tracks. I also believe that there's more like 30 to 40K and other awards on top of that 25K prize. And some of the other L2s that are going to be lining up is going to be even more money. There are 3 tracks: Bitcoin, DeFi 2.0, 3.0 digital economy, and AI tooling and infrastructure. Registrations are now open. Head over to biddlebattle.com to register and for more information about the events. And so you can register here. You're going to have access to 30 plus VCs, accelerator, fast track, and Bitcoin Accelerate, Bitcoin Fi Accelerator, Bitcoin Frontier Fund, Stacks Ascent. These are the tracks. So you got Bitcoin DeFi 2.0, scalable, secure, and smooth, scalability, security risks. You got the digital economy. So that's meme fi, social fi, game fi. They're looking for anyone building in those areas as well. And then you got AI tooling and infrastructure. So if you're building anything in AI on chain or connected to DeFi or crypto, you should definitely be participating in this. The schedule, week 1, they're going to dive into workshops, mentorship sessions, and resources designed to sharpen your skills and refine your project ideas. Week 2, turn your ideas into reality as you start building your project. And week 3, prepare to battle it out by pitching your projects to top-tier VCs and seasoned judges. And look at all these partners that are already signed up and your judges. If you know these people, make friends. You guys should definitely participate in the Biddle battle if you're in here. SBT See, phase 2 begins on the 25th of February that's only a little over a week away, just a week from today, actually, with an increased cap for bridging in an additional 2,000 BTC onto stacks, with withdrawals going live in early March. As with phase 1, the minimum deposit amount will be 0.01 BTC. There is a new X handle you should all be following, boostx_app. Stacks OG and friend of the show, Crypto Dude, has developed a new protocol for sending STX, SBTC, and other SIP10 tokens to users on X. All you need to have is a BNS name in your X profile, and you can get paid and tipped earn stacks. You can head on over to boostx.cc to learn more about that. Are you looking to start as a developer with stacks? Well, if you head on over to the stacks.co main page, and over here you see at the top you start building. And you can build apps and smart contracts secured by Bitcoin. Why build on Bitcoin? Well, it's secure, robust, user ready, and untapped. There's a ton of untapped potential on there. And you can start with the basics. Learn to build a full stacks app, get paid to build your app, and there's all these developer tools down here as well. You can get started. If you're looking to get started to build on stacks, if you're looking to build on Bitcoin, stacks is a great place to do it, and you can get started there on stacks.co today. Do you have a .btc name? You can get one now over at bns.one. They've announced a number of platform enhancements for user interface, listing marketplace enhancements, and more. Head on over to bns.one to get your own BTC, STX, or other BNS digital ID. For a limited period of time, you can apply for reimbursement for registering a BNS. You go see Velar BTC at Velar BTC on X for more on how to get reimbursed for the cost of registering your .btc name. Let's see. Stacks Pay SIP proposal based on development by Boom Wallet's Dan Trevino and team is up in the Stacks SIP GitHub. If you're interested in learning more about this, join the conversation in the SIP and provide your feedback. Read more about this new SIP standard at stackspay.org and head on over to boom.money to get on the waitlist for the pending launch of Boom Wallet. Wrapped Nothing Not community is looking for a new banner for their X profile page. There's a bounty for this up on Zero Authority with the Not Punk NFT 296 offered up for the creator that makes the best banner for the community. Head over to zeroauthority.xyz and check out the bounties page for more information on that. And that is the coverage of the news today. We're actually almost out of time. I took a longer than normal, and I apologize. But we do need to actually jump into very shortly. I'm going to bring GPSC on, and then we'll head over to the working group. Let me see. What am I doing here? We will be covering. What did I do? Buttons
That's me. Is that me on? Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. Did you try to turn on too? Is that what happened, or did you? No,
man. I stay hands off. I'm just like, yo, let Steve handle the biz. You know what I mean? Peace knows what he's doing. So, good morning, Steve. How we doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. At least I make it look good, right?
Oh yeah, damn good, man. You make it look easy. That's for damn sure. Yeah, man. Excited for today to get to see the guys in the Clairty Working Group doing their thing. You know, big shout out to Setzeus, Gary Riger over there. You guys definitely give those guys a follow. Yeah, and excited to talk about art on stacks with Reese today. I actually set up this space. We're gonna be rotating host seats between Reese, myself, and 300. So I was a little sketched out setting that up because last time I set up a space, we all know what happened to my account. But yeah.
That was the last time you set up a space.
Yeah, the last time I set up a space, that's my account got suspended. So
In the middle of the space, I remember all of a
Yep.
sudden you were still hosting, and I'm like, what happened? I couldn't
Yeah,
like I was
dude, it was
trying to
so
message you
weird.
about something and you were gone. I remember that. That was, man, what a nightmare.
Yeah, but the good thing
Shout out
is
to our friends. We got Squidfin tuning in. Good morning, brother. Great to
My
see
God.
you today. Nobody famous. Love it, love it. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. And I hope I didn't talk too much during the. I think I was too
I think you
long-winded.
handled the biz, man. I think you handled the biz. You covered all the build battle, which is important for people to know. That's going on. You know, there is some I could imagine there's some really good entrants coming to the ecosystem for that. You know, just to kind of get a shot at winning some funding to build what they want. We've got like Boost X and Crypto Dude. We've got
That's crazy stuff going on. What Crypto Dude's working on, and I've been a bullish fan of what he's been working on with Derupt and his social, his SocialFi platform that he's building out, and did some testing on that for him. And the crypto cash component of it. But this Boost X thing is next level for the ecosystem. Really it's I can't wait to see where that develops and how people iterate it, and it really is something else.
Yeah, dude. I was in a space with Blockface and him last night. As you know, Blockface is up at the wee hours in the morning. I don't know when that guy sleeps, dude. Seriously. But
right about now, probably.
Yeah. But we were talking to the different people that show up to the syndicate spaces and getting them set up with. They were getting them set up with .btc names, getting their leather wallet set up so they can interact with BoostX. So I can see the potential in onboarding with this as well. They hear that, hey, I can get some exposure to crypto without even really leaving X. So I can see a massive onboarding event come from this. So we should all definitely get behind Crypto Dude and what he is building. Yeah, it's awesome. Good stuff. Yeah. So now onto the Clairty Working Group. I'm seeing we're linking up with the guys. Looks like they're getting set up.
It's really weird seeing myself flipped
twice. Oh, flipped on this side and then flipped on that side. It's your alter. It's like your it's another dimension. It's another form of you.
Gary, would you mind if we do the lesson part of it first?
Sure.
There or no? Cool. Because I wanna go over something a little bit more advanced at the end, and I think the order would be better if we just do beginning stuff first and then at the end. But
sounds good.
Cool.
GP, how's
all right? I'm gonna go ahead and kick off.
The audio.
I'm gonna have Gary share first, but today's
it's a little bit
during
loud,
today's Clairty Working Group, we are actually going to try something new at the end.
Very clear.
I'm going to try going over
too loud
a snippet of code that if everyone feels happy with, we can then submit or contact whoever works on the Hero Docs cookbook. And ideally, we can submit something to the cookbook from this session. So I'm going to go ahead and let Gary kick off first with just intro to Clairty lessons, and then we can go ahead. And the second half of this, again, the idea is, finish up at 9:30. On my end, we're going to be going over, again, some advanced Clairty to try to submit something to the cookbook. So, Gary, if you want to take it away.
Awesome. Okay, let me, I'm not getting the present option here. I don't know if that's, go to the, in this is weird. Presenting is not available in this version of Meet. Go to the full version. I've never gotten that before. Just 1 second.
I'll see if I can force it here.
Okay. Otherwise, I might have to leave and come back, maybe.
Yeah, try leaving and come back because I can't see it on my end.
That's so odd. Okay, 1 second.
Here we go.
Okay, cool.
I'm doing excellent today. Nobody, how are you today?
Hi. Okay.
What
Can you guys see my screen?
famous?
Can't hear you. I think you're on mute, but I think I see you.
That works. That works.
Okay. So thank you again for joining us today. This is Zero to Clarity, which is part of the Clairty Working Group. And I know we are now also being streamed live on DeOrganized, which is nice. And so just in the interest of time, we're going to kick it off. But this is specifically for newbies who are here and are looking to enter into Clairty. We have a DM group called Zero to Clarity. So if you have questions there, you can ask. You can also join in on these calls. And we're just going to continue going over the primitive building blocks known as the native asset functions. So we went over one and a half last time. And I think this time we'll just kind of dive in and close these out so that we can then go further and start using them. So last time we did the define non-fungible token, which is one that you're going to see very often. You actually have to see it if you are creating a non-fungible token, which if I have some time, I can get into a little bit. But now we'll just go through the rest in the interest of time. We'll just get started. So NFT burn, I love the naming. I think it's sort of a Web3 nomenclature at this point. I think it sort of speaks for itself in the sense that, burn, you're going to destroy something. And so, definitely would ask that you folks take a look at how burn works, specifically in the documentation, only because there's a few different ways technically to burn something. And one is like an official burn, and another one, which I'll get into, is just more of like a transfer. So a few things to think about. Why would you want to burn an NFT? Well, there's a couple of reasons why you'd want to burn an NFT. The things that come up instantly is just the supply, right? So if you want to maintain a certain level of supply, you can remove some NFTs from existence. Data integrity, obviously making sure that everything is clear in terms of data. If you want to burn and create that finite understanding of what's happening is important. And then also just the life cycle of an NFT. Sometimes we need to potentially, you have some business logic that requires it, or you want to create something that sort of ends the life of one NFT, creates another. So, obviously it's in some ways, again, burn is self-explanatory, but it's there, it's important, it's a native asset function, and people need to understand that it exists specifically as a function that you can add to your contract. Now, what's really interesting, I kind of mentioned before about burn, is you can technically burn an NFT by sending it to an address as well that somebody just would not be able to access. And we have had, I think I've used it a few times actually, thanks to BNS. You can now literally send an NFT to can't-b-evil.stx as an example, can't-be-evil.stacks. And that's just an example of a burn address that Stacks has. So if you, for example, there are contracts that don't have built-in burn functions. And so what I've seen is, people will send their NFTs to an address that, essentially nobody owns. And I think that's generally how it's done as well in all other blockchains. There's a specific address. It's sort of like call it an address that is not like the others, where it'll have more zeros, versus like a regular SP principle that we use for our everyday address. And so, what does that look like? Well, it's pretty simple. I think what we'll come to realize as we kind of go through these is that once you kind of understand the framework of the method, of the methodology of how these definitions are structured, you'll get to much better understand over time what they do just by looking at them and what's happening. So the basic idea here is, look, to burn an NFT, you have to call the NFT burn function, which is right here. And then you give it an asset name. We've been working with Bob Pod. And then you want to say, hey, okay, well, I'm burning a very specific NFT, right? Because you may not want to burn all NFTs or whatever your specific use case is. So you want to identify the NFT ID as, let's say, U1, U10, U1000, whatever ID you're specifically looking for. And then you want to put in the sender. So that will burn the NFT. And we're going to get into some things that are interesting, depending on if we have time, if not next. But it starts to sort of play into, well, you don't want to just use these methods by themselves, right? So they need to have some sort of boundary. So one simple example of like, what boundary would you set? What controls would you set around this? Well, why not making sure, like, does the sender own this NFT, right? It's just one simple example of things that you need to sort of create around an NFT burn function. Let's get into some other ones. So each one I'm going to do a little bit differently just to kind of spice things up, if you will. So NFT get owner, very, very useful, very important. And I will just say that, you know, if you don't see an NFT get owner function on a NFT contract, I'd be a little bit nervous, because it is extremely important to always know who the owner is. And so what I did for this one, just to kind of, again, make it interesting, I'm going to share, you know, I went into Gamma, I found a random contract. So let's just go into it so I can actually show you guys, you know, this looks like in real life. So I'm going to go in and present. I really can't present if I do it through the, that's not cool. I really don't want to leave again. Okay, wait. I think, sorry about that. Sorry for the, do it from the little pop-up, but I can do it if I go back to the tab. Now I realized what's happening. Okay, so yeah, so you go to Gamma, you pull up you know, any collection, and you'll notice that they've got the contract right up here. For anyone that doesn't know, it's important. And you'll go into the collection, and the easiest way to do this, generally speaking, is, you know, some will go into the source code and you could find it. You could also just go into available functions, right? And if you go to available functions, you know, if this doesn't have get owner, then, you know, I owe someone some stacks, but it definitely should. Here it is. So now I can click on get owner. Okay, so this is the function here. And I can type in an ID, you know, let's assume it exists, like a 10. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to get this response. And the response, sorry, I'm trying to make this bigger. And the response tells me that this is the owner of the NFT. Extremely important, because obviously this up inside of the contract. Well, it's pretty easy, probably even easier than the last one, because all you really need is you call the NFT get owner function, you say, hey, this is the NFT I'm looking for, and then here's the asset identifier that I'm trying to find. And so essentially what we're doing here will result in us being able to call the function, enter the ID, and get the result. Okay, so I'm not everybody that's new to Clairty knows that they can actually go into the Explorer and mess with all the functions that exist in the code. So this is just sort of another example of that, to make sure that you can do that. And then we'll just wrap up with a few of the final ones. NFT mint can get far without NFT mint. So especially if you are working with an NFT, okay, you're going to need an NFT mint function. So in the last class, in session 2, we talked about defining an NFT. And so if it is an NFT contract, you're going to have a definition for the NFT. Otherwise, again, it's not an NFT. But now that you've defined the NFT, you got to have something that'll mint the NFT. So there's different ways to do that, but at the end of the day, you can't do it without the NFT mint function. So if I was to go back to that contract, I'd find it there. Again, no question, it's going to be there. And how does that work? Well, inside our contract, we would put something like this. Actually, this should be a question mark. So NFT mint, the asset name, right? So in our case, it would be Bob Pod. The asset identifier, again, we talked about identifiers last class, but generally speaking, it would be a uint, so a positive integer, and we would be able to put in the ID. And then finally, extremely important, something you never want to mess up is the recipient. Now, the way this would generally work is if you're creating some one-off scenario, you could hard code a recipient by putting in their Stacks address. Sometimes for whatever reason, maybe that's a requirement. That's a case that makes sense to you. Most of the time, what you're going to see is something like, a TX sender. So essentially you want to make sure that the person that is calling the mint function from their Lether wallet or Xverse wallet is the person that's going to receive the NFT. That's not always the case in the sense that, people who are calling it are going to get it. But what's interesting is you've got the dynamic of who is calling the mint function. So sometimes the creator of the NFT will call the mint function for all the NFTs, mint the NFTs, and then make them available for sale. That's just one example of how you could do it. They could also technically mint them and airdrop them, or mint them and transfer them, or you can just you can make the mint available to the user. That's obviously the other way. And again, just quick, if you want to go and take a look, you can not only find it in the source code, but in the available functions, you're going to find the mint function. And what does it do? It asks for the principal, which is the same as the Stacks address. So that's this thing right here. And again, the ... just means that there's more letters, numbers to come after this. So do not mistake this for the actual address. Again, I know a lot of people know this, but Zero to Clarity is designed for newbies. So just want to make sure. And last, but often, I think I would say the most dangerous, if I could sort of think about NFT transfer, this one would be the NFT transfer. So just want to make sure that, from my personal experience, and I know everyone has different levels of experience, I've probably had more trouble with NFT transfer than anything else personally, just because you want to make sure that you're doing it right. And NFT transfer, like the rest, I think is self-explanatory, allows for transferring tokens between addresses. So what would that look like? Well, you've got the NFT transfer, the name, so Bob Pod in this case, our identifier, whatever this ID is, and now just a couple of additions, in this case, one new addition from any of the previous examples. We have who the sender is and who the recipient is, okay? And so again, in this case, you may want to replace SP alt this the sender to TX sender, which will again finitely say, okay, whoever is sending the transaction is sending this NFT out of their wallet, or is trying to send the NFT. Again, you need guardrails. This is another one of those where you're going to want to put controls in place because, for example, you don't want to try to send an NFT that you don't own. And you're probably going to have some breaks along the way in your flow if you don't manage that gracefully. And we're going to get into that in future classes, but essentially you use error. Okay, I was like looking at, I thought Eric had something, but I think he's just mentioning something aside, a comment. So with that said, just as we kind of go through these classes, we're going to make it much clearer to you how you would actually put these functions inside of your contract. You certainly don't want to put one line for NFT transfer, one line for mint, one line, because that's going to cause a lot of security issues. And so these are just what you would call building blocks for writing out these contracts. And with that, we have finished the native asset function specifically for NFTs. We started last week with the first Define NFT, and now we've kind of covered the rest. Any questions, feel free to ask. You can go into our DM group, Zero to Clarity, and we'll kind of get into more detailed, into the contract in more detail in later classes. And that is it. Thank you for having us. And I will pass it on to Jesus. Thank you, sir. I'm going to stop presenting.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for that. Gary. Super appreciated. And yeah, happy to start off with that because now we're going to move on to some quick announcements and then some advanced part of this with the idea that we have something that we can hand over to the cookbook. Unfortunately, I've been coding this live and I didn't get it working. So I'm going to have to share and you guys are going to have to help me debug and code this along the way. So that is not that fun for me to be coding live, but I'm excited to see what you guys catch and how we can debug this really quickly. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and share first the presentation for today. And then I'm going to screen share my screen. Before I do that, I'm going to make sure I have nothing in the background that is not good since I'm going to be moving around from my IDE to everything else. Okay. Well, we're going to give this a go. All right, so going over the presentation really quickly. Yeah, no pro XRP tweets, yes. Don't worry, I closed pump.fun as well. No political shitcoins at the moment. So Clairty Working Group, February 18th. When it comes to SBTC, again, not too many announcements outside of things are on pace. We actually should have a demo of withdrawals, if not this week, by the end of next week.
Awesome.
So it's exciting. When it comes to the Clairty part, there's not too much that's going on there. So not much to update you guys. Orange hats. So there are actually some changes here that I need to go over. I basically had my admin or manager review with Bitcoin L2 Labs, who again is the sponsor for the Orange Hats program. And we've decided to tweak the direction that we were in a little bit. So the goal last time I was trying to keep the cohorts it's going to be 2 people per cohorts, and I was trying to keep it 1 person that is a Clairty native, 1 person that is a security engineer or a gray hat or an auditor outside of our community, and that we wanted to bring in. And so we're going to be tweaking that a little bit, where the goal now is mainly introducing new security engineers and auditors to Clairty, teaching them Clairty in like a really speed run kind of way, and then have them do 1 audit at the end of that period to showcase that they're ready to help out with other projects, they're ready to help out the community. So that being said, again, last time it was 1 quarter, 2 audits every 6 weeks. Now it's going to be 1 quarter, 6 weeks of Clairty Security Academy, which again is going to be me just teaching folks that are already security engineers or are already, white hat people, Clairty. And then the second part is going to be doing an audit. So I'm right now. So obviously the current audits are going to be pushed back that we were going to select. And my focus is currently on finishing this up. Of course, I'm going to be happy to show that to you guys as well. So just stay tuned for that. Okay, so now going on to cookbook. This is a really good suggestion by Friedger, but I think a cool thing that we could do is, in addition to announcements, I think every other time we meet, I'm either going to have someone review a tool or a concept, which again, we had Hugo last time go over new features in Clarinet, or we're going to do some cookbook stuff. Ideally not live and on the fly, but something that is done and that we can just go over and you guys give me thumbs up, thumbs down, opinions on this could be done in a better way. Cool. So today's session for the end of the time is just going to be on verifying signatures. So I guess before I even start into there, raise your hand here if you don't know what verifying a signature means. And it's totally okay if you don't. Again, this is supposed to be for people of all levels here. So if you don't understand what I mean when I say verify signature, how do you sign something off chain and verify on chain, or why this is something that you might want to do, please raise your hand. If not, I'm happy to get into it. This is probably one of my favorite features in Clairty, and I've been using it a lot in a lot of the contracts I've been working on recently. So
I would be I would love to hear the why personally for me more than like the how.
Sure. So the why for verifying signatures on chain is again, how do you maintain a level of integrity when someone wants to submit some data that comes from some off-source chain? And so to give an example, let's say you needed to submit something on the front end, and you want to make sure that on the contract side, the only thing that hits the contract is what was submitted to the front end. Right now, you could have checks on the front end, but anyone who knows how to call directly into a contract can kind of get around that and just call it into a contract directly. And so how do you maintain data integrity off-chain and on-chain is by signatures, where you pass in a signature, you pass in a message, and you pass in obviously the signing key. And if the signature is actually verified with that message, then you can guarantee that the message that was passed in is what was written off-chain on the front end and what should be verified. And I think I saw you ask a question there.
Yeah, I threw in a follow-up just because I think it.
That is a great question, actually. Actually, I'm not sure. Bryce, do post conditions come from signatures? Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like that kind of would make sense. Or are they connected? Are they connected
at all?
A
little bit different. So, like the post conditions are part of the transaction, so they're signed over with the transaction. And I guess they're limited by what you can express with that. So you can specify asset transfers. It's primarily focused on asset moving around, right? Okay. So like you can specify with that, and that's part of the transaction itself. And then with these types of signatures, you could check anything, you could validate anything, either it came from the right account.
Okay. Yeah. So that is a good question, Gary. So they are a little bit different. But yeah, it seems like post conditions, it's mainly for, again, changes of things, where signatures is something where you want precision that's being passed in. So that being said, how do you verify signature? Well, again, you need 3 things to verify signature. Technically, you only need 2, but to do it on chain and to do it well, we need 3 things. One is the message, right? What message is being signed? 2 is the signature. So what is the signature from someone signing this message? And then last but not least, the signing key, right? And again, obviously in anything Bitcoin or stacks, you have a private key and a public key. Obviously, when we check these signatures and we check them on chain, you do not pass in your private key, you pass in the public key. So Clairty actually has a neat little function for this called SECP 256K1 verify. Who knows where this comes from, the first part of the function? The first part of the function name. I know some of you guys know this, but if not, SEC 256K1, yes, exactly, is the elliptic curve that is actually used to make this signature. And again, elliptic curves are defined by different constants, A, B, and C. And there are different variations of elliptic curves. However, in Bitcoin, and it seems like in most crypto stuff, this is the actual SEC curve that is used. And obviously keyword verify, because we are verifying that a signature is valid or not. Cool. So how do we do this in Clairty? I was trying to do this on the fly, which ended up not working as well as I'd like. So you're gonna have to help me finish this. But here we have a simple read-only function, is signature valid, in which we are passing in three things. A plain text message. And again, this might not be what you want to pass in. You can pass in a tuple, you can sign, an int, a string. Mainly you're going to see though people pass in tuples to sign, and something called structured data. So we have our message, we have the signature, and we have the signer key. And I want to make it clear that the signature and signer key are always the same length when passed in. So you should always have buff 65 and buff 33. And here you see PC checks. Okay. And here we see the function SECP256K1 verify, and we see again that it takes in three things: the message hash, a signature, or a public key, and it returns a Boolean. And so here I actually have three different things. I have this one big guy, and the reason I have this as opposed to just, message is because if you guys look at SIP 18, so there is actually a SIP that defines how you should submit structured data to sign. And I always just follow that template. And so that template starts with something called the domain, which gives you the name and the version and the chain ID. After the domain comes the actual message itself. And so here we go. Well, this is the domain, right? And so in our case, what we're passing in is we have the SIP 18 message prefix. And again, this is the same no matter what, defined in the SIP. Then we have the domain. And so you can see here, SHA-256, name. I'm just going to change this to cookbook example, the version, and the chain ID. And finally, we have the actual message here. And so the message that we want to sign, again, in this case for the cookbook, is just a simple string ASCII that we're passing in. And then we're hashing with 256. So first, any questions on what I have here? Is any of this, asking more of the seniors, is anything here wrong or look unnatural or not how you guys would do this? If not, I can go to like showing you guys how this works. But if not, let me know. Again, this is the message, this is the signature, and the signer key. Okay, cool. There's no questions here on how this works or if I'm doing it wrong. Then let's go ahead and I'll show you how I would typically do this in a test. So, okay. This is so I do want to ask who's ever in charge of the cookbook. I'm not sure how we can. I'm not sure if most of those examples are supposed to be just simple enough if they're in one file or if they're going to be multiple files. But it seems like to cover this well, it's probably going to have to be multiple files. But either way, so let's go ahead and try testing this. So we're writing a simple test, signature test, verify signature. The only thing we want to sign is hello world. And I realize I hard coded this below, so I'm going to erase this already. Actually, no, I'm going to leave this be. Sign with the deployer key. So here we're calling a transaction signed transaction message, and I'll show you guys that in a second. We're passing in hello world, and we're passing in a private key. Again, that's all you need to create a signature. All you need is, what are you signing? What are you signing it with? Then after that, all we're going to do is we're going to call into the contract that we just made, call into is signature valid, and we're going to pass in hello world. We're going to pass in that signature, and we're going to pass in the public key from this private key. Before I do that, I'm going to show you guys signed transaction message. I should have this here. Okay. Yeah, this should be signed simple message, which is not imported in correctly. Signed simple message. Did I not import that? Okay, cool. Sorry, 1 second. Again, this is why I don't love coding live, but did not finish this in time, and I need help debugging. Okay, cool. Signed simple message, copy. We have this here. So we have the signed simple message function. Again, all we're passing in is a plain text string, which is a message, and the private key, which is also passed around as a string. Some of these are definitely not my choice, but more just mainly so how stacks.js is set up and how I've found that how I can make it work. From here, all we do is call create simple message. And so creating simple message, well, at least you're in a room of people that I think understand the pain. Cool. So if we have create simple message, again, we have our message and we have our domain. So for the message, all we're going to pass in is a plain text. And note this line is important. Whenever you're working on anything JavaScript that you want to use in Clairty, make sure you are first converting it to something called a CV, which stands for Clairty value. So in this case, we were taking that plain text string and we were saying, hey, make this into a Clairty value first. So we have CV message. Again, the domain you guys saw should be the same as this. So I'm going to change this to cookbook example 1.1 and 1. Okay, cool. Cookbook. Example. All right. And then we're making our message hash. So here we're doing SHA-256, hex to bytes, serialized CV message. Okay, this is a lot going on, so I'm going to break it down little by little. I don't recommend signing Clairty values as they are. I recommend you serialize them first. And to serialize something means to turn it into an array of bytes. And so here we are serializing our value, and then we're turning those bytes into hex. And we need to do that because that's the format that SHA-256 works with. And so finally, we're hashing it and doing SHA-256 of our message that is serialized. Of importance, note how we're doing it in the contract here. This is why we have the two consensus buff on wrapper, or the two consensus buff function here. Because we don't just want to pass in the message as is. We need to make sure that whatever we are signing, we are replicating exactly as it would in Clairty. And so here we're passing in two consensus buff because we want this message. We want this message to be in the right format. So two consensus buff, unwrap panic because we know it should be there. I never recommend using unwrap panic for anything in production, but it's a simple contract. And then SHA-256. Cool. So what is on the left here is exactly what you guys see in line 41. And what is in line 9 for the domain is exactly what is in line 42 for the domain hash. And now once all that is done, we now concatenate the SIP18 prefix, which again, this is the same for any SIP18 message you're signing, the domain hash, and the message hash. And again, if you look at Clairty, this is why we're doing concatenate and concatenate, because all we're doing is these steps here. And then finally, we're SHA-256ing all of it. With that, we get our serialized message back, and we now can sign it. And so here we have serialized message. We're getting our private key. We're getting our public key from the private key, and we're signing. And so sign message hash RSV comes from Stack.js. So this is the only function you need to call into to actually create a signature once you've done the steps that we have. And again, we have serialized, we have our message and we have our private key, and we are returning a signature, our public key, and the serialized message. So this should be good to go. I am getting some error that I'm curious to see if you guys can help me debug it. But if we run that test right now, if I run npm test, okay, let me see. Okay, what is this issue? Error require ESM.
That's my bad. It will be fixed in Clarinet next version, but you can install Node.js.
Okay, so it's okay. Yeah, I usually use NVM. Okay, so it might be this.
Yeah.
Okay.
22 is fine. You should use the LTS version anyway. Just do 22 and remove also the .0.0 so it uses the latest. Yeah, just do 22.
Yeah, that's good. Doing 22.
Yeah, but this one is not the latest one. It won't work either. Just remove the zeros.
2213 or something. You don't care. Just use the latest. NVM use 2020.
Yeah, just do 22, not 22.0.0.
So NVM use 2020 like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's still not the latest.
Not good.
So can you do 22.13.0.0?
NVM install 22.
Yeah.
Nice. Right.
No, on to the next.
Okay, cool. So now this is a more typical error. Failed to resort import helpers.
You probably need helpers.ts.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, from .helpers, where do I have helpers?
Yeah, you need to
not,
specify the extension.
It's not helpers, it's helper.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Failed to resolve import Clarigen types from test helpers.ts. Okay, if I don't need the Clarigen type, I might just remove it. Oh no, I definitely need that. Okay, this might be a Hank. This might be a Hank issue.
Do you need to generate the types?
It's funny, the message that came up there was conflicting. First one said it didn't detect something, and the second one said it did create types. So one said it did, one said it didn't. Do you actually have the file?
For Clarigen types?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what you just ran there, it kind of gave two outputs. One said it worked, and one said it didn't.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, I'm guessing it's not there. But I'm not sure why it wouldn't be there when installing.
Just remind
No, I think usually when you generate it, just reads from the
watch
Clarinet Toml. I'm not sure whether it
Clairty Working
didn't
Group
run.
Meeting. It's a bi-weekly meeting of developed
Actually, now that you mentioned that, the Clairgen
Setzeus
Tom was not
and
here.
Gary
either.
Riger, and
No, but is that required? I've only used it a little. I'm
really
trying to
good
get more into it, but this
collaborative
is, and I
They're
want to say,
all
like, overall, as much as we all don't love doing
together,
this is super helpful to see other people go
each
through this
other,
process. And
building.
I stumble across all this stuff all the time, so like it's better it's out there.
Yeah, fully. Okay, you know what? I might have just never ran. This.
Yeah, like maybe try that first, and then just see if we can run Clairgen right after that.
No, yeah, it's still giving me that. But I do have Clairgen here now.
And did you run just the PNPM Clairgen? Sorry, I'm like doing two things at once here.
No, all good.
There you go.
I did now? Okay. Damn. All right. Well, same issue, even though we see Clairgen.toml here.
What's the error now?
Where did those Clairgen type files get generated to? I think that might be the problem.
Repeat that, Bryce?
I don't know. I don't use Clairgen much, but where did it generate those files to? Because I think it's just a matter of where they are. Oh yeah, source. So they're in source, and your file's in tests. So if you go like // maybe.
So on the one in helper or on the one on the left?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There.
What help? What? Okay. There we go. Okay, cool.
Now we got.
All right, now we're in actual flow here. All right. So hex bytes expected. That's weird. I've definitely done this before.
It looks like you got one more import there for serialized CV.
I have one more what?
It looked like serialized CV. Was that imported?
Yeah. I mean, the error seems it's a formatting error, not a import error. Yeah.
Oh, I saw the red squiggle. I can't see the detail.
This is weird.
What is
Bryce,
see,
any idea on
type?
You don't need.
Why is it a UN array?
You don't need the X2 bytes. You already have the bytes.
I don't need hexabytes?
No, because you already have the bytes actually.
Because you're serializing. Would that be right? Like if you were serializing a normal, or because you're serializing the value, you're getting the bytes. If you were trying to look at a signature that was not serialized, you'd have to run hexabytes. I think that would be the difference.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
Signature, sign message, hash RSV now.
Can you check the error 963 in the code?
Can I check what?
On 963 on private key there is an error.
Yeah, it's yelling about the private key bytes being passed in.
So instead of that function you're using there, that sign message hash RSV, there's an easier function that you can use if you're using the latest Stack.js, just called sign with key.
Okay, sign with. I need to import that, right? From which package?
Stacks/transactions.
stack/transactions. Okay. Sign with key.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And then so that you just pass the private key and the string, the hash that you're signing over.
First
is the private key. Second is the string, the hash. Yes, that's string. Yeah.
Same issue with private key bytes. Am I not passing in? Do I not have to do?
Oh yeah, you don't have to do that. Just pass in the private key directly. What is it coming in as? String?
Yeah, it's coming in as string.
I think you need to do create stacks private key and pass your bytes to that.
Pass this or private
Yeah,
key bytes to this?
The bytes one. I think both would work actually, but let's do it with the
Create stacks
That's private key.
private key.
That just takes a string.
It takes
takes
string?
both, I believe. Like one or the other, but both should work.
Oh, since that's not signature anymore, you just have to, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, or not.
And I think. Wait, what?
Wait, why is that still yelling?
This should be. Oh yeah, no, I don't know.
Oh, because it wants it returned as a string. Okay, so should I just change this to message signature?
I think so. You can remove the type here. You can just let TypeScript
Okay.
do the assertion.
All right. Okay, now this is yelling at us because we need to update this. Verify contract. Okay, let's see what we had in the Clairty contract, and now it looks like we actually should be close. So we have message, signature, signer key. Okay, still yelling at us. Oh, it's because this isn't supposed to be, oh, right. This is a read-only value. Okay. R is not assignable. Okay, now I need to go from message signature to string. Is there a way to do that easily?
I think you can just call .toString
Okay.
hex, maybe.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, cool. So now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Now it failed, but it failed here. Invalid byte sequence. Are we sure about that message signature to string hex bytes?
No.
Maybe I don't need that around hex to bytes.
Yeah, what do you need signature to be?
So it's supposed to be a buff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, buff.
So signature is what?
So in my code, it's slightly different, but I was doing this.
In signature, we have message signature. We have signatures and message signature at the moment. Structured data hash with prefix. Structured data.
I think that's the function defined in my
Helper. Okay.
Yeah, but like the rest of it, I think, should be similar. But I'm not using ClaraGen, so I don't know exactly how that maps.
Yeah, I don't think it has. Yeah, right now Teams is just not liking.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with this one.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with message signature. But...
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this worked when I was returning a string.
So if you do serialize message signature, you get a buffer out of it. So
You're saying, oh, we should serialize it again?
I don't know about it again, but I'm just trying to get the right type. Oh no, there is serialized message signature. This is a structured function.
I should use serialize message signature.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know.
Yeah, to get the types. I don't know either.
Makes sense.
All right, we're almost there.
Yeah, I think.
Now, I'm literally just going to print this because this went way over time.
Hey.
All right, no, it says false.
No, it says false. You just moved the assertion.
No. Ah, brutal. Okay.
So this is where I would start like printing the serialized parts of it at each phase.
Yeah, and go back to it.
Seeing how it compares in the Clarity versus in the TypeScript.
Cool. All right. Either way, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up now. Now that we have all of it at least submitted, and I'm gonna go ahead and debug because I ended up changing a lot of the types that I usually don't use here. So Bryce, I'm gonna follow up because I have working versions of this, but that look like they're completely different from what you use. So
yeah, so if you take a look, I linked the repo. If you look at this unit test file, there should be something helpful in there, I think.
yeah, I have this working in other files as well. But yeah, I think this is a good opportunity to get the simplest version of this that works in the cookbook. Yeah.
Sure.
So
yeah, definitely.
I think by next meeting I'll have like a much more simplified version of all this, and we can improve and get it in the cookbook. But yeah, I appreciate you guys walking me through all this. It's a shame we couldn't get it working.
Hey, Jesus.
Why? Yeah.
To prevent adding more complexity into this, but before I touch on that, we're launching this month's Hero Hack, which started last month. And then this month's Hero Hack, the theme is going to be around the Hero Cookbook. Basically, it's going to be encouraging developers to submit a recipe or snippet to the cookbook for this month's Hero Hack Challenge. So if you want, when you get this, I guess, up and running, you can submit this to that challenge later on this week or next week. So I just wanted to flag that for also anyone else on this call. A second thing as well, to touch on that, I don't want to add more complexity into this. I noticed the other kind of complementary Clarity function called SCCP 256K1 recover. That function will pull out the public key from just the message hash and the signature parameters. So then I infer from this is that in your actual verify.clarity contract function, we probably don't even need to pass in the signer's public key, because that recover function is able to pull out the public key from just the message and the signature parameters.
It can, but then I don't think from TX sender we can generate that public key to check what's expected. All we would check is that like we were able to extract out a public key.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think verify kind of just is like another step around that and just adds like a Boolean to check against the signer key. If we could make this guy from TX sender, then yes, we wouldn't need that. But I don't think it can at the moment. Or someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can make a 33-byte public key from TX sender.
Gotcha. But the SCCP 256K1 recover function, that will output the 33-byte public key.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It will, but then again, you still have to check like, oh, is this the key that I'm expecting that's signed? You know.
Okay. So gotcha. So this is assuming that the signer himself is actually calling this function himself.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Exactly. Cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up with that. Thank you for all the help throughout. For everyone else, you got to see what it's like to do complicated stuff across multiple Clairty and JavaScript and TypeScript. Appreciate the patience, and yeah, I'm gonna submit this to a cookbook after I probably circulate by a few of you guys just to get a sign off. No pun intended. And yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Gary, thank you for the phenomenal first half. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Please invite other people here so we can continue getting better and better. Thank you guys.
Wow,
All
dude.
right.
Those guys are
deep,
very, very talented.
deep work we got to witness on there, actually, man. Crazy stuff. I thought it was really great. I'm so glad that they actually give us the opportunity to stream this for them. And you heard what he said at the end was invite more people. They need more coders to come in and participate in this group. You can, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. This is from beginner level on to a super advanced top guys. These are Eric Choi is the top guy at Hero Systems, and he's talking about their. I got to actually follow up with him and find out more information about their Hero Hack program because I'd never heard of that before.
I never heard of that either. Yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of people in our sphere that would love to hear and know more about that and participate. So that went a lot longer than I was expected. Normally they go until 9:30. It's only a half an hour show, but I thought it was extremely valuable information for our community to get exposure to that side of things, the coding side, the work, the dev work, and just to see the extensive capacity of the people that are building on stacks. I actually have to end the show now because I got a committee meeting in like 25 minutes, and I still got to read all the information that I don't. So I'll we'll end it there, but thank you all for tuning in. This was a great episode. I love that we're covering that. Tune in tomorrow. We have Adam Hahn from the Stacks Foundation coming on to talk to us more about the Biddle Battle and go into some of the details on that. We're really excited to have Adam here. Don't forget to tune in and watch GPSC and our homies Reese and 300 on the Art on Stacks at 2 p.m. today. Check in for that, and don't miss episode 2 of the DeOrganized nightly show with GPSC and Blockface. I always never know what to call him. I want to call him Mike Jagdeo, but a lot of people don't know that's his name.
Yeah, they know him as Blockface.
Funding. He's for a while he was called So You Wanna. So tune in tonight. We got lots going on. Our ecosystem is strong, building through this mini bear situation that we're all kind of handling to the best of our abilities. I am PeaceLoveMusic. He is GPSC. And we are DeOrganized Media, coming at you live every day, Monday through Friday on BitcoinLive, Decentralized Broadcasting. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out.